Ladies and gentlemen, the High Court today made its ruling on the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. They upheld that impeachment.
The prayer seeking to quash the resolution of the Senate to impeach His Excellency Gachagua is hereby declined. 2. A declaratory order is hereby issued that His Excellency Gachagua's fair trial rights were infringed when the Senate declined to allow an adjournment in the impeachment proceedings despite his absence. 3. A declaratory order is hereby issued affirming the constitutional necessity for Parliament to enact a dedicated statutory framework governing the impeachment of Deputy President under Article 150 of the Constitution.
Which means Rigathi Gachagua remains impeached. And since Rigathi Gachagua is impeached, he cannot run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in 2027. But the High Court gave a window for appeal. 4.
The court makes no findings on pension and emoluments. The first petitioner is at liberty to pursue the matter before an appropriate forum. 5. The court awards constitutional damages of Kenya shillings 50 million to His Excellency Gachagua payable by the Senate to vindicate the Constitution, restore the dignity of the affected party, and deter future violations. 6. Parties shall bear their own costs given the public nature of these proceedings. And lastly, for the avoidance of doubt, any prayer not expressly allowed herein is accordingly disallowed.
And if Rigathi Gachagua were to appeal that ruling, the Court of Appeal will make its ruling in 2028. Again, if they were to uphold it, Rigathi Gachagua will still go to the Supreme Court, which will make its ruling in 2029. But Rigathi Gachagua's allies still believe that Rigathi Gachagua can actually run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya as long as he will appeal. But let us go with what we know. Rigathi Gachagua will not be eligible to run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. But that ruling is going to have major political impact on key players in the Republic of Kenya. It's going to have a major impact on Kalonzo Musyoka. It's going to have a major impact on William Ruto. It's going to have a major impact on Edwin Sifuna. It's going to have a major impact on UDA leaders from the mountain, and of course Uhuru Kenyatta and Fred Okengo Matiang'i. So in this video, I want us to try and analyze the political implication that ruling will have. Before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. What we do on this channel is that we analyze politics in a way you can't find in any other place. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin by looking at the political implications on Rigathi Gachagua himself. This ruling means that Rigathi Gachagua must ensure that William Ruto is made a one-term president. And therefore, Rigathi Gachagua will have to sit down and have a meeting with himself and agree to support a candidate with the highest potential of winning the presidency. If that candidate will be Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, he must support Kalonzo. If that candidate will be Edwin Sifuna, he will have no option but to support that candidate, because now he will not be eligible to run. And the other implication is that Rigathi Gachagua will definitely, in a negative way, be affected. Of course, we know Rigathi Gachagua was capable. Of course, we know Rigathi Gachagua was able to change the narrative or to change the implication of his impeachment and turned it in his favor. He might also do the same here. But the truth is, Rigathi will now have to make a choice to support someone he can rely on. Someone who, after winning, will actually be able to support him through this appeal, which he will now still have a chance to. Number two, I think Uhuru Kenyatta now has a chance of stamping his authority in Mount Kenya through Fred Okengo Matiang'i. I'm saying this because if this ruling had gone in favor of Rigathi Gachagua, the implications would have been huge against Uhuru Kenyatta and Fred Matiang'i. Probably if it would have gone Rigathi's way, Rigathi Gachagua would have declared officially that he's going to run. I can assure you that if this ruling had gone in favor of Rigathi, almost 60% of UDA leaders currently working with President President William Ruto, would have shifted to Rigathi. As we speak now, Rigathi cannot go to the mountain and give them hope that he can actually run. Personally, I'd hoped that the deep state would have wanted a situation where Rigathi Gachagua is actually cleared. But I'm going to come to that analysis. But the truth is now, Uhuru, since Rigathi will not be eligible to run, Uhuru can now push the candidature of Rigathi Gachagua, of Fred Matiang'i had. Because there's a day Pauline Njoroge commissioned an opinion poll on her page on Kikuyu language. The truth is, majority of those who responded were of support of Fred Okengo Matiang'i. So Uhuru has a chance. Number three, and for me, I consider this guy the biggest beneficiary, Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka will definitely be on the ballot in 2027. Whether as the joint candidate, whether Rigathi Gachagua was going to be cleared, whether the United Opposition will agree on Sifuna, Kalonzo will have to be on the ballot. But Kalonzo is banking on which support base? The mountain. If Rigathi had been cleared, there is no way Kalonzo would have a chance in the mountain. I'm looking at the current political figures, and I'm trying to imagine who Rigathi can actually bank on. Do you think Rigathi can bank on Sifuna? Because Rigathi is still looking at a chance of post 2027. Do you think he can bank on Sifuna? I doubt. Do you think he can bank on Matiang'i? I doubt. So Rigathi Gachagua can pick easily Kalonzo Musyoka as his preferred candidate. So I think the biggest beneficiary in all this is none other than Edwin Kalonzo Musyoka. Let us look at the implication on William Ruto. Initially, I'd thought that William Ruto was going to allow, through the deep state, the court to make a ruling in favor of Rigathi Gachagua. The thinking was, if that were to happen, then Rigathi Gachagua was going to be on the ballot, Kalonzo was going to be on the ballot, and of course others. But if you look at it deeply, you realize that if this ruling had favored Rigathi, these three things would have happened. Number one, most of UDA leaders currently supporting President Ruto would have suddenly shifted to Rigathi Gachagua. With this ruling, they will not make those moves. In fact, they'll go to the ground and advance the narrative that Rigathi Gachagua was impeached legally and therefore cannot run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. Number two, you look at Mount Kenya politics. Unless Rigathi Gachagua will do what he did with his impeachment, I can assure you, majority of Rigathi Gachagua supporters right now, they are very down. What do you think will persuade them to wake up to go and vote? William Ruto understands one thing, that the mountain is gone. He might not get their numbers. So what can he do to win the mountain? Zero. He can only ensure that they don't vote. So the fact that Rigathi will not be on the ballot will persuade most voters from the mountain not to turn up in large numbers. The truth is voter apathy. Because there's no Raila Odinga, which used to make the mountain to wake up. Rigathi had given them hope that Rigathi will not be there. So most of these guys will not. And in fact, William Ruto wanted to maintain the status quo. He didn't know what to do. If Rigathi had managed to win, or if the ruling had gone Rigathi Gachagua's way, we don't know what Rigathi Gachagua would have done. The kind of celebrations after party, and in fact, the impact. So Ruto wanted to maintain this status quo, so that today, in the Republic of Kenya, the opposition are still where they were before. Rigathi is still going to go for appeal. These other guys still don't know what to do. And for me, William Ruto is also looking at the rerun. And this impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua is not favoring him. Let me explain. During the rerun, William Ruto will ensure that some of his spies are in DCP. Are in DC. Most of his allies will be in DCP. And they win. Rigathi will not be on the ballot, but now they've secured their seats. William Ruto will convince them, please help me defeat these guys, then I can do what I can do. Remember, even right now, we have a by-election in Olkalau. What has the president done? He managed to persuade one of the strong candidates from Rigathi Gachagua's party to his party, and that guy has actually been appointed. So he will dangle those kind of carrots for the purposes of rerun. The mountain will be like, Ruto will now serve only 5 years. Then we have a better chance post William Ruto, rather than having a new person to win. Like, for example, if Sifuna were to win 5 years, the mountain will be out for 10 years. And let us look at the Mount Kenya politics. I think independent candidates now, or these other small parties, will now be able to win seats. Because Rigathi wants a party can use to negotiate, which is okay for him. He will have majority of them. But individuals will now then have a chance in the mountain. They'll campaign on their individual capacities. I remember, was it in 2007 or 2013? 2007, I think, when Mount Kenya had several people elected on very many political parties, Sisi kwa Sisi, Sujui party gani, several of them. That might happen now. Those small parties will have a chance because they will not have a presidential candidate. But what impact will it have on Edwin Sifuna? What impact? Is it a blessing in disguise for Sifuna? Or will this impact negatively on Edwin Sifuna? Let us look at it critically. Sifuna is banking on the support of the mountain. He is banking on the support of the young people. If Rigathi was on the ballot, what would have happened? And I know this is something which Rigathi was going to do. Immediately was going to be cleared. First stop was to look for a running mate from the Luhya nation. And I suspect he would have picked the Tawi movement guy. If not, Moses Masika Wetangula as the running mate. You look at the numbers from the mountain and the numbers from the Luhya, and Sifuna is there. Some Luhyas would have voted for that ticket. And remember, Rigathi has the numbers, which means strategically he would have been number 2 or number 1 during the first round. Then face will be William Ruto during runoff. That would have been dangerous. Because in the runoff, the Luhya nation now will vote for him. And he becomes the president. So those are some of the things this guy is. So, but for Sifuna, the fact that Rigathi is now out, he can now also try and win the support of the mountain, because he has a chance of winning their support. What about Fred Matiang'i? I think the contest in Mount Kenya now is going to be between two individuals, Fred Matiang'i and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. So the question is, between the two, who will carry the day? That's something we cannot decide right now. We'll have to wait to see the moves Rigathi Gachagua is going to make moving forward. But the truth is, it is now clear that Rigathi Gachagua will not be on the ballot. And therefore, the way he will behave moving forward will actually determine the 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Makwiny. Bye-bye.